Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Flex and Reflect Sunday Sit Down. A bunch of questions here today, and I've noticed that this seems to be my Sunday go-to outfit. So, in moments of doubt or burnout, what specific thought or mantra brings you back to the center and reignites your motivation? Well, I've touched on this a couple of times before. Personally, what I find is there's some red flags for me that identify that maybe my motivation is starting to drop. I'm not enjoying getting into the gym and doing that workout. I'm not enjoying doing my meal preparation. I feel a bit fatigued. It's taking me longer to recover from workouts, all that kind of stuff. So what I'll do is I might take a week off strength training, and I'll do my cardio, still focus on eating and stuff. But what I do is I go back to my goals, my overall total lifestyle goals, if you like, and how I'm attaching everything that I do to my health and wellness. And then I will absorb myself in content, normally health and wellness content. So you've heard me talk about Muscle and Fitness magazine, great magazine. They don't print it anymore. There's some information you can get online and stuff. But what I've got is a big collection of Muscle and Fitness magazines. So I'll just pretend that, okay, it's a new month and I've got my new publications. They come out once a month. And I will just go through that. It could be one out of the 1990s or mid 2000s, early 2000s, and I'll just read it, and it's just, I don't know, something about whether it's the imagery, the words, it just gets me back into the zone. And certainly after about 3, 4, 5 days, so if I'm having a week off altogether, I find that I'm back. I'm ready to go. I'm itching to get back into the gym. So I do that. Another one is knowing that my health and wellness is the foundation for everything that I do, and I know that that's really important for me in driving myself forward and the things that I want to achieve in my life. So I'll just reconnect with that. I have my coach JT.
I'm not sure I understand.
Thanks, Siri. I'll have my coach JT. It's like he's sitting on my shoulder saying, "Rob, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you working? You don't want to work out right now, but go do the workout anyway." And sometimes I'll do that if I find that I'm getting into that place where I'm fatigued, I'm really not enjoying it, and just pushing through it is not going to help me enjoy it. I know for me, it's a big red flag that says it's time for you to take a break. Maybe I'm getting a little bit burnt out. Maybe I'll go back and say, oh yeah, you haven't had a break in like 12 weeks. It's time to just take that time off. My body just naturally seems to get to that point. And then, so it's a reconnection with my goals, reconnection with, okay, why am I doing this? Do I need to change up my program right now, which is what I've done over these last couple of weeks from having a little break and absorbing myself in that content. And so then I'll find those things that inspire me, motivate me. Sometimes it might be watching a movie as well, but I find that reading online can help me sometimes, but for this type of reading, I like to have the magazine, and so like to flick through it and read it and absorb it. So that's the way that I do it. Okay. Can you share I haven't pre-read any of these questions, an unconventional nutrition or workout tip that you swear by, which might surprise the audience? Interesting question. Okay, so unconventional nutrition tip. All right, so something that I did probably a decade ago now was I was working with a strength and conditioning coach, and one of the things that I wasn't doing was being really focused on my omega-3. Our diets are generally, particularly Western, are very low in omega-3. So he was teaching me about, what are the best sources of it. Obviously, we've got fish oil, that kind of stuff. That gives you some aspects of obviously your omega-3, but there are other sources as well. So he introduced me to flaxseed, flax meal, flaxseed oil, things like that. So the main one I take, because nutritionally it's better, is flax meal. And so every single meal that I have, which is generally 6 meals a day, I will have omega-3. So I'll take fish oil in the morning. I'll take it in my second last meal as well. And then for the other meals, like if I have a smoothie, I'll add in a heaped teaspoon of flax meal, and I'll do that with my other meals as well. And I find that so omega-3 helps with the inflammation, a brain function, things like that, your immune system. And I found that by consistently doing that, it has had an impact on my health and certainly my joint health as well. So I think that's something that most people don't focus on. So that's probably something that's a little bit unconventional. In terms of workout tip, you did ask for one, I'll give you both. So workout tip, unconventional. Well, I guess for me, it's around the scheduling and making sure, because like this is, so the tip's got nothing to do with like lifting the weights, but in many ways it does, because if you don't pick your days, don't pick the time, and you don't schedule it, and you don't commit to sticking to that, then for me, that has a dramatic impact. The other one is, like I said in my first question, about coming up with a greater definition of health, which attaches me to, so why did I get started? So what were those goals? And so I've created over time, when I first started, it was all about aesthetics. It wasn't really about health. That was kind of like a side, a byproduct, I suppose. But keep in mind, I was like 20 years of age, and it's like I just wanted to look better, I wanted to get bigger muscles, etc. And then over time, it's like it started like this, and then the health has got to this side, and now it's like the older I'm getting, it's like I'm just connecting more and more things with my health so that I can get more done and be more successful in what I do. And then that ties into, this is how many times I'm going to work out a week, this is when I'm going to do them, this is the intensity, this is the program I'm going to do, and all those things come connecting back to that central point. So that's something that most people don't do, which is why they have no plan, their intensity is poor, they don't get awesome results, they can get injured, etc., etc. So for me, it's coming back to, how do we make this holistic and sustainable for the rest of your life? And you change it, but you stick to the principles. I'm going to do strength training, I'm going to do some cardiovascular training to, work the heart, I'm going to eat well, I'm going to focus on those things, and then that leads you to all the other things that you want to enjoy in life as well. So that's for me. All right, what's one piece of advice you've received about health, fitness, or mindset that initially seemed counterintuitive but proved to be profoundly impactful? So yeah, mind benders today. So for that, probably my current coach, JT, the last chapter of his book, the title of it is "Stop Talking About It and Get It Done." And you can relate that to, say, excuses, right? And we do this a lot ourselves, where we make up reasons. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Or I'll do it next week, or I'll do it next month, or I'll start next year, or whatever it is. I did that myself when I was writing my book, Awaken and Sexy Within. I kept putting the date. I made it the 31st of December, and I just changed the year. It's like, oh, well, yeah, it's June, I've still got time. It gets a couple of months later, it's like, oh, I haven't really done enough, I'm not going to get it done, I'm not going to push myself to get it done, so I'll just make it 31 December the next year, and then the next year. And then I realized that I was doing that with a few things. I was just like putting it into the future and coming up with a story for myself about why I thought that would be a good idea to kind of go easy on me. And I guess in many ways, yourself, well, that's not going to give you awesome results if you keep doing that, but also not following through consistently and saying, oh, well, I'll do it sometimes, was something that I thought, well, yeah, I can still get great results. But when I actually did the work and said, well, hang on, you're not where you want to be. You want this different result. What if you do this more consistently? And what if you do these things every single day? So the tip I would tell you, if you're really determined to achieve anything, set a deadline, but do not make it the end of a month. Don't make it the 31st, the 30th, make it like the 17th of X month. And, have a certain number of weeks. Don't make it, okay, I'm going to make it 2 years' time or whatever. Like, be very, very specific, and whatever deadline you put on that, you stick to it, you don't move it, and you just work like hell to get there. So I just started getting up at 20 past 4 every morning, and I was writing and writing and writing. And what that did was it created a routine for me, momentum, and I did it every single day. And then that's how I got the book written, pretty much from nothing, and in 12 weeks' time I'd finished the thing. So I guess that, would you say that was counterintuitive? Well, I guess it kind of made sense to me that, we'll stop talking about it and get it done. But what does that actually mean? It's like, well, you've got to attach a whole bunch of other things to why you're getting started, why you're doing it, and what's going to keep you going. So I don't know if I answered that the right way, actually, but let's move on to another question. Okay, how do you balance the need for discipline and routine in your fitness journey with equally important need for rest and spontaneity? Well, perhaps you've heard me talk about left brain, right brain. I'm very left brain thinking, which means routine, planning, well, I know I can't do that until I've done this and this and this and this and this, and that's just the way that I do it. More of your right brain thinking is going to be more spontaneous, like, hey, let's just go and do, I don't know, sailing today. Or let's go and do, rowing or, something like that. Whereas I'm like, hang on a second, that doesn't correspond with anything that I've done before. I feel comfortable about doing that. What if we go and do that after I've done what I'm supposed to do, which is this exercise, this workout, etc., etc., etc. So for me, I don't really do a lot of that spontaneous stuff. My life is pretty regimented. But in terms of balancing that discipline and routine, you asked about, the need for rest and so forth. I think you're understanding what your body needs, and no one's going to understand their body like you, but you've got to listen to the cues and feel the cues. So I know if I'm not well, like if there's something wrong, I was like, oh yeah, I've got a chesty thing, or I've got something that's really draining my energy. I know, yeah, there's something not right. I've picked up something. I know that, 4 workouts a week for me that I'm doing at the moment is really the top end of what I need in terms of allowing me to recover between those workouts. I know that ideally a workout for me is probably 45 minutes time. If I did a 90-minute workout, that's too much for me. It would take me too long to recover from that, and it's just spending too much time in the gym for me. I know that there are certain cardio exercises that I cannot do because it'll flare up my knee like that. Like if I'm riding the bike fast, for instance, you've got that constant, pushing around like that. That's just too much irritation for my knee. But out walking is fine. Running, too much impact. Even the certain cross trainers or ellipticals, if you like, they're built different ways. So some of them have a longer stride and some of them have a shorter stride. Some of them are more, you're almost feeling like you're stepping up and down and you're angling back a little bit. Again, because of the fast motion of that's not good for my knees either. So I find that walking is good. Rowing is not great for my shoulders, like if stationary rowing. I don't enjoy water sports and that kind of stuff, so I don't do that. So I found that walking is good, and I know what's the right balance for me, the right intensity. I know if I've done an exercise and I feel certain things, that I know what I need to do. Like I said in the first question about when I have those red flags, and knowing that, I'm starting to not enjoy it. So I guess here are the big things for you. If you're starting to not enjoy it, it's taking you longer to recover from your workouts, you're sore for longer, that kind of stuff. You're starting to maybe feel a little bit unwell. You start to feel like more foggy in the brain about everything that you're doing. It's probably time that you're not resting enough, you're not recovering enough. Maybe it's time for a little break. Of course, the challenge is to make sure that you don't train for a week and say, oh yeah, I should have a week off, and then you come back and I'll train for a couple of days. Now I need another week off because I'm a little bit sore on this, that, or the other. There are some elements where you need to push through. I'm talking about you've got like a 12-week training block, and it's like, I'm starting to feel like I'm getting fatigued and so forth. They're the things that you need to be aware of. In terms of the spontaneity part, it's very much a personal thing. Like for me, I like the rigidity and the discipline having the program planned out, tracking everything. I like that. Some people are like, okay, I want to be able to go and do something different. What I would suggest is that your strength training is very regimented and very proper, great form, a plan, etc. You're tracking everything to stick to it. Where you can get some spontaneity is, say, maybe your cardio. Say, oh, look, I'd like to do a HIIT session today. Or I would like to go for a swim or whatever. Oh, I would like to go for a ride on the bike, go for a run, whatever, ticks your boxes. That would be where I would say do the spontaneity. Because if you're say, okay, well, today I'm going to do weights, and tomorrow, next strength session, I'm going to do this, and I'll do these exercises this time. I'm not going to do that. That's not a really great way. To some extent, it depends on your health and fitness goals and so forth, and if you're training for a particular sport and stuff. But if you follow anyone that's highly successful, let's say in a sport or whatever, you'll see that they'll pretty much do the same types of routine, and they're tracking it so you can keep on progressing. If you're doing something completely different each time, what are you comparing it to? How do you know if you're making progress? So that's my approach. All right, we'll do one more question. Okay. I've sort of covered that one before. It's a bit about mental health. Okay, all right, let's go with this one. Looking forward, what is one area or aspect of your health and fitness journey that you're curious to explore more deeply? So I think for me, I have a very busy schedule with clients, and being able to fit all my coaching commitments as well as what I want to do for myself personally and everything. Like time is a big factor, and which is another reason why I don't want to be like training for hours and hours and hours every day. I've got a whole bunch of other things, and as much as I love it, that I want to do other things. And so I think if my schedule eased up a little bit, maybe the next 10 years, maybe some of the things that I think I'd like to do more of. I think Pilates plays a big role in helping your core be strong, your back, and so forth as well. That is something where I would like to maybe do a session of that a week. I think that would be good for me. I'm not flexible at all, so things like yoga are just not enjoyable for me. Like sitting there holding poses, normal ones, weird ones and stuff, very uncomfortable for me, so I don't enjoy that. So that's not for me. But I do think that something perhaps like another thing would be, I say like Tai Chi, for instance. I wouldn't mind giving that a go to see, okay, is this something that would be a moment for me? Whiskers, it's my cat. Whiskers, no. I'm going to have to grab him. He's going to go chase a bird, I think. That would be something that I think, like just mentally and like physically, I just like to give that a go. So obviously low impact things, but I think they would benefit me. So I'd be curious to do something like that. That's a good question. So I think one of the things we need to do is always make this health and wellness journey like a beautiful experience for you that you really embrace. And like my life wouldn't be the same without my focus on my food and my training and everything. I just love it. And even though some things have changed, many things remain the same. And I think what people are realizing more and more in the research that I see on a weekly basis is showing that there are more diseases, illnesses, and health benefits from doing a strength training. And so like avoiding diseases or helping contribute to making you have stronger immune systems and that kind of stuff by doing strength training, by having this embedded lifestyle. And I guess the reason that I do what I do is to try and get people to have healthier lifestyles and to encourage people. If you've never done strength training before, you've never got more knowledge about food to understand this is the way that you should be eating, rather than just saying, okay, well, I'll just go to the supermarket and eat till I'm full kind of thing. We want to be able to do it more sustainably for our health, because it's only getting worse. So if you get more focus in that area, you will feel better, you'll feel more energized, you'll have more focus, and then with that, you'll be able to do more of what it is that you want to do. And often that is just around making a greater contribution in our world, adding more value to other people, and contributing in a better way than you are right now. And if you're the best human that you can be, and you're a high-performing human than you were, then you're going to get better outcomes in every area of your life. And I think that's super, super exciting, and you're in control of it. It's just that what I do is I just sort of provide people the GPS and say, these are the tools, and I hold it to account, and that's how we get there. And like, it's tremendously exciting. So, all right, I'm going to finish there. So thanks for all your questions this week. Some good ones in there. I'll see you next week. Have a great week.